What you got, what you need, everything's gonna crash and break. What you got, what you want, what you need, can I be your savior? Everything's gonna crash and break, but I know, yeah I know. What you got, what you want, what you need, gonna be your savior. Everything's gonna crash and break, your savior.
Hey everybody, it's Masterath here, and welcome to Masterath's Robot Wars Legends, episode number 59. So in this episode of Legends, we got some ramifications from episode 58, some setup matches for episode 60, and a brand new tournament. So let's begin with the battle card for episode 59. And we're kicking off with a brand new tournament. It's been a decade since the MRW Champion of Champions was last introduced, so it's time for the third Champion of Champions. You can only qualify for this tournament if you have won a championship since the last Champion of Champions 10 years ago. And 16 champions or former champions have been chosen to battle it out in this tournament. And we're kicking off this episode with 6 of them in 3 one-on-one battles, as Crush Syndrome takes on Ensign, Dark Effigy battles Onis, and 2 series champions go head-to-head in Speed and Torto Terra in the first round of the Champion of Champions. And then it's our 5th of 6 Legends Annihilator qualifiers, as we see the return of Velocity and Z-Force taking on Action Ferrari in a Mayhem match. Winner claims the 5th spot in the Legends Annihilator in 2 weeks. And then it's a number 1 contenders match for Adema and Plasma's MRW Tag-Team Championships as Red Dawn and Zero, 2 very favoured robots in MRW Series 10, take on the Song of Ice and Fire, you could say, in Flash Fire and Isolde. And then a number 1 contenders match for the MRW Judgment Championship as former Legends champion Masterath, former Christmas Feast winner Transpar, and the ever so popular Obliterator battle it out for that shot at Arrowhead 2. And last but not least, the Legends Championship is on the line as the new Legends champion Diamondstorm, currently on its record-breaking 3rd Legends Championship, looks to defend its title in its very first title defense against the 2 winners from last week's number 1 contenders 4-way matches, currently one half of the MRW Tag-Team Champions Adema and Hypno-Edge. But first, it's the Champion of Champions first round.
Introducing Crush Syndrome.
And here it is, opening the show for the 2nd episode in a row. It's former Legends champion and former semi-finalist Crush Syndrome. Last time out, Crush Syndrome became the first veteran in this series of Legends to beat a new blood in the Wildcard Warriors tournament, easily dispatching of the new robot Spectrum. Crush Syndrome gained entry into the 2021 Champion of Champions by beating Impact in the last series of Legends and going on to have the 2nd longest reign as MRW Legends champion.
And introducing its opponent, Ensign.
And here making its debut on this series of Legends, it's Ensign, a former tag team champion alongside its former tag team partner Exodus, which has allowed it to gain entry into the Champion of Champions. This former Heat finalist has very interesting weapon synergy, as it has a flipper that goes all the way over the robot, meaning that it can act as a front flipper or a rear flipper, depending on the situation. This robot also has spikes on its side to prevent it from being flipped onto its side. A very difficult robot to try and eliminate this.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
And here we go. Yes, new music as well. It's the return of the Champion of Champions tournament, Crush Syndrome, who got this opportunity by winning the Legends Championship so long ago and becoming the 2nd longest reigning Legends champion in Legends history. Ensign won the Tag Team Championships with Exodus back in the last series of Legends to get this opportunity. Crush Syndrome currently with the advantage right now, just preventing Ensign from getting out of the blocks whatsoever. White Lightning trying to get the axe in, but Crush Syndrome just too quick. Right now, Ensign spent most of this battle on its top, really, at this point. Now finally back on its wheels, but Crush Syndrome not letting up. Here, that is what you get from the former quarter-finalist in MRW, Ensign. Former Heat finalist on a couple of occasions, but has never gone further. Crush Syndrome still pushing here, onto Ensign, shoving it into the sidewall. Just keeps wasting that power of that flipper right there. Is Crush Syndrome. That's all it's doing right now. And Ensign slowly getting weaker with that weapon. Crush Syndrome pushing again. Ensign finally getting underneath. The flipper of Crush Syndrome. No! Crush Syndrome able to escape a probable fate with that flipper. Pit button going down. Pushed down by Crush Syndrome. Ensign wanting to get that flipper in maybe one more time. But Crush Syndrome not letting it happen. And Crush Syndrome pits Ensign and is the first robot through to the Champion of Champions quarterfinals. A push, a pit, and that's all it takes for the former Legends champion, Crush Syndrome, through to the quarterfinals.
Cease.
So, Crush Syndrome, the first robot to go through to the 2021 Champion of Champions quarterfinals. And it's now time to see which robots will join it. First off, it's Onus versus Dark Effigy. These two robots have got a bit of a score to settle, and they've drawn each other in the first round of the Champion of Champions.
Introducing Dark Effigy.
And here is the champion of Series 4, the very strong armoured front flipper, Dark Effigy. Dark Effigy gained entry into the Champion of Champions this year by winning the Tag Team Championships with its partner at the time, Wedge Flip, in the last series of Legends. This robot is very well controlled and heavily armoured. It's going to be very interesting to see how this robot's armour fares up against its opponent, especially after their last encounter.
And introducing its opponent, Onus.
And here is the full-body spinner, Onus. Fully repaired after what happened to it in the first episode of the new series of Legends. A claw from Bolgannon, a shove from Bolgannon, and a drop zone of Gorilla Wood Glue pretty much damaged the entire front of this robot, which has now been repaired. Onus gained entry into the Champion of Champions by being the Series 8 New Blood Champion and the New Blood Champion of Champions all the way until Legends Series 6, when it was defeated by Crush Syndrome.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
And here we go, our second match in the Champion of Champions tournament. Onus, essentially repaired after the first episode of the series of Legends. After, well, essentially it was incredibly damaged by Bolgannon in the drop zone of Gorilla Wood Glue, if I remember correctly. Really damaged the front of Onus, but Onus is back. Here, obviously won the New Blood Championship, and then became New Blood Champion of Champions, beating Exodus to get to qualify for the Champion of Champions. Dark Effigy won the Tag Team Championships with Wedge Flip back in the last series of Legends to get this opportunity as well. Oh, and immediately Onus with that power. Again, Dark Effigy obviously took damage last time it got hit by like that. And Onus on a roll already here against Dark Effigy. This battle was initially one side in Dark Effigy's favor before that, but Onus now has the advantage, and White Lightning getting in with that axe on Dark Effigy. Onus also attacking. Dark Effigy in trouble now. That flipper might be able to protect the more internal bits of Dark Effigy there. I think White Lightning was attacking the flipper of Dark Effigy. White Lightning trying to go for another shot there, but Dark Effigy had already gone out of the CPZ. Onus trying to get that spike into the flipper. And he has! Dark Effigy and Onus both caught there. And Onus, I think, has been dislodged from Dark Effigy's flipper. But that spike just got into Dark Effigy's flipper there. That is Onus's power. Oh no! Oh no, I think Onus has lost a spike. I think he's lost a spike, definitely. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, it just came right out of Onus. Onus down to half its teeth. And that's a problem because Dark Effigy now has a strategy it could include. Those spikes are not only devastating, but they also prevent Onus from being flipped onto its side. Dark Effigy could now use that to its advantage. Onus down to just 2 spikes on the full body spinner. And I think Dark Effigy realizes that the tide might have just turned. Dark Effigy trying to flip Onus, and does. But Onus invertible. It can run both ways up. Dark Effigy tried maybe to get Onus onto its side, and finally does. And Dark Effigy leaves Onus alone. And I think Onus can't right itself from there. It usually would be able to with those spikes, but that spike just being ripped clean out of Onus. Oh no, I think Dark Effigy's going for... Yep, Dark Effigy pushes Onus onto the drop zone. It's like flashbacks here for Onus, and that's not good. Onus unable to right itself. Dark Effigy just waiting for the count from Bill. And I think that is Onus's run here in the Champion of Champions gone. Onus is being counted out on the drop zone. Dark Effigy pushes the pin release button. Is that the ultimate fate of Onus here? Well, it depends on what the drop zone's going to be. Onus finally counted out by Bill. Dark Effigy through to the quarterfinals of the Champion of Champions. And the drop zone is coming down. It's a Tesco bag for life. Reusable bag. Onus, you got lucky here today. Dark Effigy pushes in Onus into the pit. Onus not sustaining any more damage. Well, they don't all have to be heavy objects, do they? Dark Effigy, however, though, wins and goes through to the Champion of Champions quarterfinals. Onus pitted.
Cease.
Well, Onus was off to a good start in that match, doing some big damage to Dark Effigy, but that spike being dislodged from Onus was the turning point, and Dark Effigy able to flip Onus onto its side, and it was counted out. Now it's time for match 3 of our Champion of Champions, and it's 2 Series Champions going at it. It's Torto Terra, winner of Series 4, versus the winner of Series 8 and 10, and the current Series Champion, Speed.
Introducing the Masterath Robot Wars Series Champion and the reigning 2-time Masterath Robot Wars Champion of Champions, Speed.
And here is the 2-time MRW Series Champion and the current Champion of Champions, Speed. Last time on Legends, Speed won a Mayhem match against Impact and Hot Wheel. This powerful front and rear flipper gained entry into this tournament by winning MRW Series 10, but also by winning the 2009 and the most recent 2011 Champion of Champions.
And introducing its opponent, Torto Terra.
And next up, its opponent, former Series Champion Torto Terra. This very powerful pushing robot has not only had a very good run in this series of Legends so far, but I'd say is still very well favoured in this tournament. Torto Terra gained entry into this year's Champion of Champions by winning the MRW Tag-Team Championships with its partner at the time, Major John.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
And here we go, one of the more anticipated matches here in the Champion of Champions first round. 2 Series Champions, Speed and Torto Terra. Torto Terra trying to stay away from that front flipper of the Series Champion. Pushing Speed immediately into the pit release button. This could be over early. If Torto Terra can get Speed into the pit there. Speed trying to get the flipper in, but Torto Terra staying to the side of the champion, of the Series Champion, of the current Champion of Champions, 2-time Champion of Champions. Won it in 2009 and won it in 2011. Undefeated here in the Champion of Champions, but it's being pushed, it's being bullied by Torto Terra right now. And Speed trying to, again, just like Dark Effigy in the previous match, trying to protect its innards by using the flipper to counter the spike, the flipper, or the axe of White Lightning there. Speed now finally getting underneath Torto Terra and pushes Torto Terra into Bloodshed. But Bloodshed has caught Speed by accident and lifts Speed into the air. Speed trying to right itself now. It does have the self-right problems, but Speed needs to right itself quickly and does. Very, very well done from Speed. That Speed now gets the flipper in. Torto Terra, Speed so close. So close to the pit. That could have been the Champion of Champions. Gone again. Oh, no. So close. And again, Speed staying in it. But Torto Terra has dominated this so far. The 2-time Series Champion is being just bullied by Torto Terra. The only robot in MRW history to win the MRW Grand Slam. Speaking of slams, there's one right into the side wall. Into the eastern side wall, and again, Speed! So close to going in! Speed! Using its power to stay in it, and flips Toyotera finally! Toyotera has been lifted, but Bill's been owned! How's anyone going to count out Toyotera here? Toyotera lifted, Bloodshed CPZ now is the main focus, and Bloodshed flips, and Toyotera back on its wheels here, and that is not good for Speed. Speed trying to get a flipper on Toyotera. Toyotera gets underneath the flipper, and the champion goes in the first round. Speed, that's got to be a shocker. Speed, two-time series champion, the current champion of champions, gone in round one. Toyotera through to the quarterfinals of the champion of champions.
Cease.
Well, I was expecting Speed to win that one, honestly, with its previous runs in Champion of Champions, but Toyotera shocks the series and current Champion of Champions and eliminates it. Toyotera through to the quarterfinals of the Champion of Champions tournaments. And now we're going to take a bit of a break from the Champion of Champions and go straight in to our next match. And it is our 5th Legends Annihilator, with the winner going through to what is already a very stacked Legends Annihilator later in the series as Action Ferrari, Velocity, and Z-Force battle it out for that right.
Introducing entrant number 1, Velocity.
And here is the incredibly controlled front lifting scoop of Velocity. Furthest this robot has got is a Heat semi-finals before, but has never been seeded here in Masterath Robot Wars. It is now invertible, allowing it to run either way up, but it does still have high ground clearance at the rear, so a very maneuverable flipper can still get underneath this thing and cause it problems.
Introducing entrant number 2, Action Ferrari.
And next up we have the powerful pusher Action Ferrari, armed with those front ramming blades that can do a lot of damage. However, this robot is incredibly uncontrollable, and that has caused more problems for it than it has sorted. Even though this robot may be a fan favourite, it has never gotten past the Heat first round battle in series competitions.
Introducing entrant number 3, Z-Force.
And lastly, the front hinge flipper Z-Force. Z-Force could possibly be flanked by teams like Arrowhead 2 as the original prototype for the rear hinged flipper, especially of a low robot base variety. And even though it's very similar to what would become Arrowhead 2, it also has the same weaknesses, being incredibly lightweight. This robot has competed in multiple Heat finals but has never made it past there before.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
And here we go, the penultimate Legends Annihilator qualifiers. Legends Annihilator qualifiers 5 of 6. The winner of this match will join Blood Eagle, Flash Fire, Triangle Megabot 4, and Robolek in the Legends Annihilator later in the series. And at the moment, Action Ferrari in trouble there with Velocity, trying to get Action Ferrari, the big robot, out of the arena there. Velocity, oh! And Action Ferrari's been lifted! Action Ferrari, too much head of steam again as usual. And Action Ferrari just toppled up and over. Velocity trying to get Action Ferrari out of the arena to make it definite that Action Ferrari is not going to win this, but Z-Force trying to prevent that. Action Ferrari staying on its top for the time being, and I think they may be just keeping it there. Yes, they are. Velocity with that front scoop. And then Z-Force with the front hinge flipper. Z-Force, multiple time, both these robots have won, well, not have won, but have gotten 2 Heat finals before. Both very impressive robots that you do usually see do well in the series of MRW. Velocity, invertible. Zero, on the other hand, is not. But Velocity is certainly useless on its top, so it usually tries to right itself with that scoop, because that scoop not very good when it's on its top there. The moment Velocity going for the pit release button, it could be a good shout for both these robots, since they don't really have the power for out the arena flips, but they certainly do when it comes to control. Bill counting out Action Ferrari, and Action Ferrari just out of control as usual. But just fun to watch. But it looks like they're going to be the first robot eliminated here in the fifth Legends Annihilator qualifiers. And Z-Force might follow! And he does! And Velocity, the winner of this. Action Ferrari counted out, Z-Force pitted, Action Ferrari pitted as well, and Velocity is the fifth robot into the Legends Annihilator later in this series. That scoop just lifted the entirety of Z-Force there. And Z-Force, there's nothing Z-Force can do. And a very controlled pitting by Velocity. Z-Force out of there, Action Ferrari out of there, and Velocity is through to the Legends Annihilator.
Cease.
So, Velocity through to the Legends Annihilator to join Blood Eagle, Robolek, Triangle Megawatt 4, and Flash Fire. And we're going to be seeing one more robot join them next week for the Legends Annihilator in 2 weeks' time. But until that, we've got some more matches to come here on Legends as we are over the halfway mark. It's the #1 contendership for the Tag Team Championships on the line. Who is going to be able to take on Plasma and Adema for the Tag Team Championships? Is it going to be Red Dawn and Zero, or will it be Flash Fire and Isolde? 3 of these 4 robots were in the quarterfinals of the last series of MRW. High caliber robots in this one.
Introducing Tag Team #1, Red Dawn.
And here's the runner-up of MRW Series 10, it's Red Dawn. The last time that we saw Red Dawn on Legends was a couple of weeks ago when it lost in the main event to the Legends champion at the time, Demon Horns, in just over 10 seconds with the Legends Championship on the line. But for Red Dawn, that is simply a blip on the radar. This robot is incredibly powerful and incredibly strong. Do not count out a robot like this. And speaking of that, do not count out its tag team partner either.
And introducing its tag team partner, Zero.
And here is its tag team partner and former rival, Zero. Zero was one of very few robots that was actually created during the Masterath Name a Robot competition, named by a YouTube user by the name of Providence Instinct. Zero, like Z-Force before it, could certainly be thanked as a prototype for the long, powerful flipper that Red Dawn is now known for. And speaking of Red Dawn, it took that robot to eliminate this robot in MRW Series 10, all the way up to the Series semi-finals, which is this robot's best appearance.
Introducing Tag Team #2, Isolde.
And here is Isolde, another robot that made it to the Series semi-finals back in MRW Series 10. Armed with a powerful rear lifting arm that allowed it to beat Demon Horns, Stinger, and Crush Syndrome on the way to the Series semi-finals. However, on this series of Legends, it really hasn't had such a good start at the moment. It is yet to win in this series.
And introducing its tag team partner, Flash Fire.
And here is Isolde's tag team partner, bringing the fire as Isolde brings the ice. It's Flash Fire, the only robot out of this 4 to have never made it to a series semi-finals before. In fact, not even a series quarterfinals. But this robot is a multiple-time Heat finalist. Armed with a very controlled front-lifting arm that can certainly control the tide of a battle. And this robot has already got some success in this series of Legends, as it's already punched its card to the Legends Annihilator, beating RoboFrog and Ultimo earlier in this series.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
And here we go, the #1 contenders match for the MRW Tag Team Championships. Winner of this match will take on the Tag Team Champions, Plasma and Adema, later in the series. Obviously, we don't know when that's going to be, because Adema could very well win the Legends Championship later tonight. Flash Fire gets off to a good start here, and could have, I think, might have been able to get that lifting arm and get into some very odd places, that lifting arm. It's obvious it's a massive worry, especially with 2 robots as powerful as these. Tag made to Isolde. Isolde flips Red Dawn. Red Dawn, though, in response, attacks and flips up Isolde. Red Dawn, oh, so close, Red Dawn, to going out of the arena. But no, Red Dawn able to survive. The runner-up of Series 10 of Masterath's Robot Wars, Isolde, made it all the way to the series semi-finals. Zero, a former grand finalist as well in that series. Flashfire really the only robot out of these four that did not have a great performance in the last series of MRW, back in Series 10 Endgame. And Isolde pushes Red Dawn, and Zero is now in the fray. And at the moment, Isolde looks to have a good advantage here against the two very similar, very powerful flippers. Zero could be having flipper problems early here, and Isolde only so happy to take advantage of Zero and Red Dawn. And Zero up, could be flipped out. No, Zero. I thought that was going to be a clear out the arena. Apparently not. Zero able to survive for the time being, but still, there's something wrong with Zero, I think. Its flipper is not righting itself. See, both these robots have really powerful flippers, but the problem is they're too powerful. And I think a tag has been made, finally, to Zero. But Zero goes straight up onto the flipper of Isolde there. Isolde just enjoying itself right now. And Zero back in again, but still having those trio problems. And Isolde trying to get Zero out of the arena, but no. That lifting arm just not big enough to get Zero out that way. Now, I'm not really sure who's legal in this match right now. I think it's Red Dawn, due to Zero getting in with the tag there. Zero has to go back. Those are the rules. You cannot attack a robot. If you're not involved in this match, if you're not tagged in this match, you cannot attack a robot unless it's in your corner. Flashfire now tagged and goes immediately for the pit button. Good strategy there from Flashfire. It's the first time that all these robots are teaming up right now. And Flashfire and Isolde have the advantage, I'd say. That's what I'd say at the moment. Oh, until that moment! And Flashfire has been flipped out of the arena. But Red Dawn's in trouble. Red Dawn is on its side. I'm not sure if it can right itself from there. And now Isolde goes for Zero. What's this? Isolde goes for Zero. Maybe trying to get an advantage here against Zero. Zero can attack back. So be wary, Isolde. You are in that zone where Zero can get back in this and try and pretty much take you out here. No! Or until that. And Zero flipped out of the arena by Isolde. Well, is that unfair, or is that good strategy from Isolde right here? Because Red Dawn is not getting back up from that. Red Dawn has been immobilized for a while, and Bill is going to come in to count out the runner-up of Series 10. And Isolde and Flashfire are going to win this and get that shot of Plasma and Adema for the Tag Team Championships. Red Dawn counted out and pitted, just insult to injury, by Isolde. And Isolde pits Red Dawn after it was counted out. And Isolde and Flashfire are the #1 contenders for the MRW Tag Team Championships.
Cease.
Well, that could be controversial to some people. You guys decide. Was Isolde in the right there? Or was Isolde not in the right and gained an unfair advantage? Isolde and Flashfire, however, the record stands. They are the new #1 contenders for the MRW Tag Team Championships. And speaking of #1 contendership, it is now time for our semi-main event. 3 robots battling it out for a shot at Arrowhead 2's Judgment Championship. It's the return of the Obliterator, it's Transpar, and it's the return of the former Legends champion, Masterath.
Introducing entrant number 1, Masterath.
And here is the return of one of the longest reigning Legends champions of the original Legends era. It's Masterath. Masterath held the Legends Championship at the start of 2010 for 98 days. And at the time, that was a record for the longest reign in that championship's lineage. At least until Arrowhead 2 put in its reign of 329 days. But Masterath has gone down as a fighting champion in the original run of MRW Legends. And all it needed was that invertible full-body flipper.
Introducing entrant number 2, the Obliterator.
And here is a certain fan favourite of Series 9 of MRW, it's the Obliterator. Debuted on its own in a special video between Series 8 and Series 9, and everyone seems to think it's a joke. No, it's incredibly serious, with its lava-coated blades and its Clefairy Idol of Death, even though it's a Clefable, but never mind, that was my friend Luke. This robot may have never made it past the Heat semi-finals in the series before, but came out in a time when the FMRW community desperately needed cheering up at the time. And with the state of the world at the moment, is the Obliterator the robot we all need?
Introducing entrant number 3, Transpar.
And last but not least, a mainstay in this series of Legends, it's the invertible pusher Transpar. This robot has had its highs and lows here in this series of Legends, including winning the first Legends episode in 7 years back in the first episode of this series. But it's not really done much since, apart from being defeated and defeated again. It's looking to get back to form though, and get a shot at Arrowhead 2's Judgment Championship.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
And here we go, our semi-main event. The winner gets a shot at Arrowhead 2's Judgment Championship. Masek, a former Legends champion. The Obliterator, well, it's just there, really. And Transpar, probably one of the best pushing robots in MRW today. Transpar going for a push there on the Obliterator into White Lightning CPZ, who gets the axe down onto poor old Obliterator here, making its return to MRW, and I think White Lightning might have spiked Obliterator right there with that axe. And White Lightning just having fun with Obliterator right now. Masek, on the other hand, trying to lift up and flip Transpar. Transpar invertible, Masek also invertible. Transpar with the push, Masek with the powerful flipper there. Obliterator pushes Transpar onto its side. Now Obliterator getting involved. Transpar back onto its wheels. Obliterator, very interesting sort of robot. Usually a joke. Oh no. And Obliterator's been flipped. Like, oh no, Obliterator. Nope, Obliterator's been flipped. I think that might be it for the Obliterator. Could be out right there. Transpar and Masek leaving Obliterator alone. The count is going to come in very shortly, I believe, on the Obliterator. Bloodshed now getting a bit of the action here against Masek and Transpar. Both these robots very, very good. Former quarterfinalists, the pair of them. Masek with that flipper. Transpar so close to going out, but no, not yet. Masek looks to have the advantage here against Transpar. Bill's coming in, I think, finally to count out the Obliterator. Yes, the count has been activated, and the Obliterator is going to be counted out. Transpar pushes the pit release button. Could be Transpar's only hope against Masek here. Masek flips up, though, Transpar again. And Masek flips Transpar onto its side. Obliterator counted out. The House Robot's going to come in for a bit of a feast here on poor old Obliterator. But Transpar stuck on its side here, and that's a problem for Transpar. Masek might just have got this in the bag. Obliterator is still moving, so fair play to Obliterator, but the House Robots are coming in and attacking now. Both Ganon in with that push on poor old Obliterator. Masek is pushing Transpar back in it though. That might have been a mistake from Masek. No, it wasn't. Masek flips up Transpar, and in the pit goes the well-favoured Transpar. Masek is the winner and will take on Arrowhead 2 next week for the Judgment Championship. And we're just seeing a mugging right now on the Obliterator. Oh, wait a minute. The Obliterator pushes. Oh! Well, there you go. Get some revenge, you could say. And White Lightning coming in. Oh, an Obliterator goes in the pit. And White Lightning, hey! White Lightning attacking Obliterator. Obliterator in the pit, leave him alone. Look at that. Push from Obliterator. Puts Genocide into the pit. And then Obliterator just went, yeah, well, I'm just going to enjoy this. And, well, get some revenge, you could say. And then tries to escape, but couldn't. And White Lightning just attacking Obliterator while it's halfway in the pit. White Lightning, don't be a bully. Well, Masek, the winner here, and will take on Arrowhead 2 next week.
cease.
Well, Masek beats the Obliterator and Transpar to earn its opportunity at the Judgment Championship. It will take on Arrowhead 2 next week, but now it's time for our main event. It's Diamondstorm, the record-breaking 3-time and current MRW Legends champion who beat Demon Horns last week to win the title, versus the record-breaking Tag Team Champion of 6 reigns, Hypno-Edge, and the undefeated Adema, the only robot in this series of Legends to compete in every single episode of this series and remain undefeated. What a main event this is going to be.
Introducing entrant number 1, one half of the Masterath Robot Wars Tag Team Champions, Adema.
And here is the dark horse, in my opinion, to win the MRW Legends Championship tonight. It's Adema, the only robot in this series of Legends to compete in all 4 episodes of this series and remain undefeated. A 4-0 record for Adema and that incredibly powerful front flipper. 2 weeks ago, this robot flipped out fellow challenger Hypno-Edge and Robo-Frog to win the MRW Tag-Team Championships with Plasma. And a win tonight could cement Adema into the history of MRW, as only the second robot in MRW history to hold 2 championships on Legends at the same time.
Introducing entrant number 2, Hypno-Edge.
And here is a robot that you've got to say at this level is the rank outsider. Tag team specialist, Hypno-Edge. This robot holds the record for the most amount of tag team reigns in MRW with 5 Masterath Robot Wars Tag Team Championships. But is actually a 6-time Fan-Made Robot Wars Tag Team Champion, winning the Robo War Revenge Tag Team Championships with Spike Shield 2. Hypno-Edge currently has a record of 3-1 in this series of Legends, 2 of those victories coming as a singles competitor.
Introducing entrant number 3, the Masterath Robot Wars Legends Champion, Diamondstorm.
For new watchers of MRW, if Adema could be the second robot to hold 2 Legends Championships at the same time, who was the first? Well, you're looking at it. The reigning Legends champion, Diamondstorm. In its first reign, when it flipped Arrowhead 2 out of the arena, it was actually, at the time, Tag Team Champions alongside Speed. After defeating Demon Horns last week in their rematch for the Legends Championship, this is the front flipper's first title defense in its record-breaking 3rd Legends Championship reign.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
And here we go, the main event for the Legends Championship. Diamondstorm, the current Legends Champion, has won one of these before. A Mayhem match in the first episode of the new series of Legends! And Adema's gone already! Hypno-Edge distracting Adema, Diamondstorm flips out! Well, there goes the dark horse! There goes the undefeated run there of Adema, snapped at 4 wins. Diamondstorm now and Hypno-Edge. The only 2 left standing. One of these 2 is going to be Legends Champion. Can Diamondstorm defend the title? Or can Hypno-Edge win it for the first time? Hypno-Edge, hang on a minute, I think Hypno-Edge has got that self-riding arm into Diamondstorm's flipper and has lifted the champion off the ground. Onto its side, but does right itself. Okay. Hypno-Edge going in with a strategy here against the very powerful flipper of Diamondstorm. I think Hypno-Edge might have got it again. Yes! Has got the lifting arm underneath the flipper and has completely turned Diamondstorm up and over. And it's clamping down that flipper. Pip's going down. Is this how it's going to end? Diamondstorm's 3rd reign as Legends Champion, a record-breaking run. No! Diamondstorm able to escape at the last second. Hypno-Edge so close to winning the Legends Championship right there. Diamondstorm needs to finish this quickly, but Hypno-Edge has got Diamondstorm for a 3rd time. In here, is it going to be 3rd time's a charm for Hypno-Edge? Diamondstorm so close to the pit. No! Diamondstorm is going to... Yes, Diamondstorm survives. Again, how close has Diamondstorm gone? We might as well stop calling it the walking red herring and calling it the cat with 14 lives or whatever. Diamondstorm has been so close to going into that pit. And again, they're both of the robots right now flirting with that pit. And that's not a good relationship to be in. Hypno-Edge trying again to get that lifting arm into the flipper mechanism. But Diamondstorm reverses it this time. reverses the momentum, and Hypno-Edge goes in the pit. Diamondstorm wins, but what a performance from Hypno-Edge here. I think if anything, that is proof that Hypno-Edge deserves to perform at this level, but Diamondstorm pits Hypno-Edge and is still the Legends Champion.
Cease.
Well, Diamondstorm with a very impressive victory. Adema very rarely got out of the blocks in that battle. Hypno-Edge showing so much promise there, but Diamondstorm able to pit Hypno-Edge and retain the MRW Legends Championship. And that is the end of episode 59 here of Masterath Robot Wars Legends, but we will be seeing you next week for episode 60 of Legends, including the final spot in the 2021 Legends Annihilator will be filled, and of course, our 2 title matches next week. I'm Masterath. You can't spell FMRW without MRW, and we'll see you next week for the record-breaking episode number 60 of Masterath Robot Wars Legends. We'll see you next week. Goodbye!
Crash and break your savior.